In the summer of 1983, a spontaneous one-off performance at a dive bar on LA's Sunset Strip had given birth to a new and curiously original band.
It was just wild. We were out of control. We were wild. The band was out of control. Everything we did was over the top, and that music was a part of it.
Literally overnight, the newly formed Red Hot Chili Peppers became the darlings of Hollywood's underground club scene. Then in the fall of '83, they pulled a stunt that thrust them into the limelight.
We were playing a place called the Kit Kat Club, which was a strip bar, and I think by this time maybe we had 4 or 5 songs.
They may have been short on songs, but the boys rose to the occasion when the crowd begged for more. For their encore, Anthony, Flea, Hillel, and drummer Jack Irons returned to the stage sporting nothing but tube socks.
And so we were backstage, and we were all nervous and excited, and should we do this, should we do this? Hey, let's just do it, let's just do it.
I saw the first sock deal, the very first one, and it's one of the most amusing things I ever did.
Anthony, on a whim, joined his friends on stage. The band improvised while Anthony rapped a poem he'd written entitled Out in L.A.
Something very...
To performance, the Red Hot Chili Peppers were unexpectedly born. Accidentally, they created a whole new genre, a potent mixture of rap, funk, and thrash that launched a revolution in rock. By the end of '83, the Red Hot Chili Peppers were the most talked about band in Southern California. And to the surprise of their critics, the Chili Peppers landed a record deal just 6 months after they first rocked in their socks.
Red Hot Chili Peppers landed a deal with an EMI subsidiary, and it was like, what? How did that happen? I don't get it.
Over the next couple of years, the Chili Peppers released 2 albums. The first, they say, failed to capture the essence of their sound. So for their second album, Freaky Styley, they recruited legendary producer and funk master George Clinton.
I wanted to be on the scene with whoever was going to be doing the funk when he came back and be not old school, but part of what was happening then. And the Chili Peppers was that raw, straight out, free your mind, your ass will follow. You rock out with your out, you know what I'm saying?
Under Clinton's guidance, the Chili Peppers refined their revolutionary blend of funk, punk, and rock.
It was the best thing ever, being embraced by George Clinton, such a prolific force in the history of music. You know, in this century, one of the greatest, liked us.
After the release of Freaky Styley, the band toured non-stop. Mainstream FM was still spinning hair bands, but college radio was getting hot for the Chili Peppers.
The Chili Peppers' strength was that anybody who came to the show just went bonkers. I mean, they were awesome, awesome live.
The Chili Peppers played hard and partied harder. Casual drug use had long been a part of Flea, Anthony, and Hillel's routine. But in '85, dope was starting to drive them apart. Anthony, who had been an occasional heroin user, was now hooked. First, Hillel loses his battle with addiction.
It's like, wow, he's dead. This is real. You know, we're fragile mortals who die. You know what I mean?
It looked as if it was going to be a breakthrough year for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Their new album, Uplift Mofo Party Plan, was outselling their previous 2 records, and their shows were drawing big crowds. On the road, it seemed Anthony and Hillel were taking steps to turn their lives around. They agreed to help each other steer clear of heroin.
What are you gonna do?
Saddened by his friend's death, Jack Irons quietly announced that he was leaving the band.
And he left, and sort of Flea and I looked at each other and we said, you know, what do we do?
My friends are so depressed.
After losing their guitarist and drummer, only 2 of the Chili Peppers' 4 founding friends remained. But Anthony and Flea decided to carry on.
We knew that we weren't done yet. We knew that the life of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, still had untapped creative energy, you know, that we didn't want to go to waste. And he and I were still best friends.
For a new guitarist, they didn't have to look any further than one of their biggest fans, 18-year-old guitar prodigy John Frusciante. With John Frusciante on board, it was time to find a new drummer. The hard-hitting Chad Smith was the last of more than 30 to audition.
I am on the rocks with the sock on my dick. I'm in the band now.
Just as quickly, the newly formed foursome was in the studio recording the band's fourth CD. Released in September '89, Mother's Milk became the Chili Peppers' first gold album. For the first time, this cult band was enjoying commercial success. Hits like Knock Me Down kept Mother's Milk on the U.S. charts for over 8 months. For their next album, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the Chili Peppers teamed up with producer Rick Rubin, best known for his work with the Beastie Boys.
They didn't really fit into the category of any of the type of music I'd dealt with before. And I thought it'd really be a fun record to make, and it was.
That collaboration gave life to some of the most influential music in decades. Afterwards, it seemed the Chili Peppers' red-hot ride might be over. In the summer of '99, the rejuvenated Red Hots released their 7th album, Californication. The record was peppered with bittersweet songs inspired by the hard lessons the band had learned. Their side, Californication became the group's most popular album to date, selling a stunning 13 million copies worldwide.
With the release of Californication, the Red Hot Chili Peppers re-emerged as a vital act.
The Peppers packed their bags for a triumphant world tour. In April 1998, after a 6-year absence, John Frusciante reunited with the rest of the Red Hots, and the band embarked on a new chapter.
Now he is like the most focused, dedicated, awesome, awe-inspiring artist that I know. I mean, it's like